welcome
to Family Homing
with Bad Mormons.
There's an evening, isn't it?
Oh, and also, not just us, but welcome to the whole wide internet. The whole worldwide internet.
Are we talking to the internet right now?
The whole wide world.
Web?
Hi.
Hi!
Well, we're going to give you a multiple choice question. Have we been drinking? Yes or yes?
Or probably yes.
There's 3 choices. Anyways, you're here listening to our podcast where you're going to hear us tell you stories about how we started out as Mormons and we didn't last very long.
Actually, we're not going to tell that story because we never tell that story. If you want to hear that story, you're going to have to go to the first couple episodes and listen to those stories. What we're now going to do is tell you about religion, cool shit, this motherfucker, some stories of us being stupid, and then we're going to send you on your way.
And then you'll get to work and you'll think about us fondly throughout your shift.
You're going to be like, you know what? At least I didn't do that. That's what I do when I watch Teen Mom. I'm like, I could have been a teen mom. And that says nothing against teen moms. It just really wouldn't have worked for me.
We're like the teen mom of the podcast world.
We're the, my life might not be going great, but look at those 2 shit shows.
It's the cautionary tale that could have been your life.
I like it. You should put it on a t-shirt.
So thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. And thank you so much. Extra thank yous, extra shout outs, and extra big, warm, fuzzy, cuddly teddy bear hugs.
I'm going to lick your face, patrons.
To our patrons.
You're not going to like it, but it's going to stay with you.
You might like it. You never know. I personally wouldn't like it.
I would hate it.
She's very sloppy with her tongue. Oh, no, that's come out
why,
right.
Why?
That didn't come out right
Listen,
at all.
Listen, Mandy, I'm not that kind of girl.
Good Lord, have mercy.
Except for when I am.
What kind of podcast is this?
I don't know. It's turning real dark real quick.
Let's move on. What are we drinking?
We are now drinking a Louis Martini. Yeah, sure.
It's a
Cabernet Sauvignon.
Nice. We went to one of our favorite restaurants in the little town we live in called San Juan Capistrano, California. And the restaurant's called Taiwan.
It's Taiwan if you get my drift.
Mm-hmm. And they loaded us up with
wine and shots of Jack Daniels.
Every time we go there, they give us these weird little bubble.
They're called bubbly shots.
Bubbly shots?
So think of an anal plug.
Oh my God.
Only instead of it being a hard, round thing, it has Coca-Cola in the bottom.
It's made of glass and it could shatter inside your anus.
Well, don't put it in your anus. You're supposed to take shots out of it. So there's Coca-Cola on the bottom half of it. Jack Daniels in the top. So the bottom round part, like a snowman. Only it's missing its head.
That's what you should have started with. Instead of an anal plug, you should have said it's the shape of a snowman.
I was trying to be funny, which I was. I succeeded. I'm hilarious. And you're right. Snowman without a head makes more sense. So in the bottom half of the snowman, it's Coca-Cola. In the middle part of the snowman, it's Jack Daniels. And on the top part of the snowman, it's my mouth. I see you saw where I was going with that.
So yeah, we did a few of those. We drank some wine. We met a very nice man there who brought his own fancy bottle of wine in and ended up sharing a glass with us, which was delightful.
Name was Philip, and he was awesome. So shout out to you, Philip, even though you're probably not listening.
I think it was just Phil. It probably is Philip, but
I don't know. I like Philip better than
Sir Philip the Brave. Thank you so much,
What was the kind of wine that he brought? Because it was lovely.
It was called, I actually wrote it down because I was like, ooh, I want to try this. It's called Westerly, and it's a Cabernet Sauvignon.
2016, if I remember correctly.
It's from Santa Barbara, but apparently, like, the way that the valleys, like, are faced in Santa Barbara, they normally go north to south, north-south, and this one goes east-west. That's why it's called Westerly.
Oh.
And it has all the similar characteristics of a Napa cab versus normally a Santa Barbara cab has the same characteristics as a Paso Robles cab, which is a little different. Both good, but, that's why this one's a little fancier because it gives you that Napa taste that everybody loves.
I'm guessing most people don't know what any of those tastes are because I'm like, what?
Well, you know how, like, if you get the, what's it called? any of those Paso Robles wines, like the Dow or there's that bourbon barrel one we get sometimes.
The only one I know that I like, I know the ones I like. I like the Alexander Valley because they taste like dirt.
Expensive.
Well, I like expensive wine.
Keep going.
That's all I got.
Oh,
I don't.
Sonoma Valley.
I don't know
Napa Valley.
So
they're all right. Those are all right next to each other.
So when we drink those, you have to say, "This is a Napa, Charlotte," so you can remember. Order the Napa. we went to dinner once with Craig, who is a very frugal man, and I was like, "I just want something from Alexander Valley." I think it was my birthday, so I was like, "I'm living it up." And he's like, Charlotte, you need to ask what the price is on wines. You can't just say you want an Alexander Valley bottle of wine. It'll be like a $300 bottle. I'm like, if it's $300, it's $300. It is my birthday.
My fucking birthday.
And I'm not paying for it. I never knew it would be this much, and I won't pay it.
Yeah, we didn't know that wine would be such an expensive hobby when we got into it, and here we are.
Oh, I knew it.
Repenting. Here we are repenting.
I have apologies to make to a certain podcast. We're going to make it up, and we're going to be best friends, and we're going to be on a sweet-ass podcast. Yeah. But I apologize, and I repent for not being clear with my schedule.
Yeah, we missed the call. Sorry. We will definitely make it up to you. It's exciting to have somebody want us to be on their podcast.
Right?
So we're going to do that.
We should get people on our podcast.
And then when we find out what the name of their podcast is, because I don't think it's aired yet. I think they're doing their pre-work so they can release all at once.
Smart.
Then we'll give them a shout out when it's solidified.
Right. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Should be fun. Okay. Are you ready for Mormon Corner?
I believe so.
I have something really fun for you. Well, it's not fun. It's stupid because it's from Utah.
Sounds about right.
Just kidding. I love you, Utah.
I love Utah when you take the Mormons out of it. Carrot jello. What is wrong with you?
But what would we talk about?
That's true. If I can't mock you, what else would I be doing right now?
Okay, so last week I was telling you about Kay's Cross, which is kind of like the nunnery of Ogden.
Right.
If I understand correctly. So let me fill you in on the deets of what I've found out about that. I'm kind of just pulling most of this from this website called thedeadhistory.com. But they give us a little article it's titled Kay's Cross, Polygamists, Cult Leaders, and Satanic Panic.
Oh, I love it.
Interesting, right? So apparently back in the day, there was a huge stone cross on this guy's property in Kaysville, which is like right around the Ogden area. I think that's actually where Grandma's like retirement home was when we went to visit her.
Yeah.
Right in that same area. And so there was like, it was on somebody's private property, and apparently you had to cross through a cemetery to get to it. And it was just this big ominous stone cross out in the middle of nowhere. 7 feet high, or it actually probably says this in the article how high it was, but it was this giant thing.
Right.
It's like the teenagers would sneak out there and spray paint pentagrams on it and shit. And then of course the whole town was like, oh my God, Satanists.
The Satanists are here. They're gonna eat the babies.
Seriously, you guys, if you're young, which you're probably not if you're listening to this podcast, you know all about the satanic panic that gripped the 80s and 90s. We happen to be just in the perfect prime position. Well, maybe not you so much, Charlotte. I was in the perfect position to like be a part of all of that and exploit it. So anyway, Kay's Cross. So this cross was out there in the woods. Well, not the woods, but like farmland for a lot of years. And somebody blew it up with dynamite when I was a junior in high school.
Oh, wow.
1992. And yeah, and it was a big deal. It was probably like some fucking rednecks, or it could have been like some, church people who didn't want the Satan worshipers out there sacrificing babies or whatever the fuck Satan worshipers do, eating babies.
Right.
But somebody literally filled this thing up with dynamite and blew it up. And that was in 1992. But so basically it had been
I was 9.
It had been a huge urban legend. Like teenagers have been sneaking out there, smoking pot, whatever, like fornicating, spray painting pentagrams. But there's a ton of urban legends about why the cross was there. And apparently like the land was supposed to be owned by this polygamist guy who killed he had 7 wives. He killed all of his 7 wives, buried them around the cross. And then his favorite wife, or his first wife, he buried inside the cross so that her heart was in the center of the cross and her arms were out, kind of like Jesus, And then he hung himself from the cross. That was one.
Oh my God, if that was true, that'd be the lamest shit ever.
Right? One of the other ones was that he had decapitated all of his polygamist wives and buried all their heads inside the cross. Like, you can imagine, right? Remember Utah?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And just so many polygamous jokes. So many jokes.
Totally. Ridiculous. Okay, so the real history, I'm going to kind of read this from the website a little bit. The real history of Kay's Cross involves actually polygamists and a religious cult with a random connection to Charles Manson.
Not surprised.
Anyone who's done basic research on Kay's Cross knows that the mystery of who built the cross hasn't been that much of a mystery since 1992, since it got blown up. So on April 5th, 1992, the Deseret News reported on an interview conducted by a local historical society with a man who claimed he helped build the cross in the summer of 1946. So this parcel of land had been owned by the Kingston family since the early 1900s, and the Kingston clan, as they're called, it was a well-known polygamist family in Utah. According to Merlin Kingston, who's some person in this family.
Sweet name.
Merlin Kingston.
Right? I love it. A new cat, I'm going to name him Merlin Kingston.
The cross was built in honor of Krishnaventa, according to plans that this woman herself had drawn, one of his wives. The large K at the top of the cross stood for kingdom. I guess people thought it stood for Kingston. I don't know.
I'm sure they did both. For both.
Yeah, probably. Okay, so who's Krishnaventa? He's a religious cult leader who gained popularity in the 40s and 50s. He just so happened to have lived in Utah for a few years, and he became acquainted with Merlin Kingston while serving in the army. I guess this guy was like a classic cult charlatan. He was the new Joseph Smith, if you will. Born in San Francisco.
The new
By the time he was 30, he had a long record of arrests for petty crimes. This is all tracking.
Did he read that book about the pirates and the fucking
Captain Kidd?
Yeah, the Captain Kidd with the fucking Lamanites and shit.
Probably. So it looks like this cult leader guy was making money as a traveling lecture hall minister. And then after his free lectures, he would offer private classes at $50 an hour, which back in 1941 or whatever, was kind of a lot. These two guys hit it off, the Kingstons and this cult leader guy. They loved money, sex, and power.
I love those things too.
That doesn't seem legal in Utah. None of those things seem legal.
We want to be poor, sexless, and destitute.
And then there's this like old-timey picture of a newspaper article that's like, the secrets of the future. Do you want wisdom? Come to my class. And it's like it's like what you imagine Joseph Smith would have put out had he had money to
if he was a professor in community college.
Right, exactly. So now everybody's wondering, how does Charles Manson play into this? It turns out 1946 was a pivotal year for Venta. He became fascinated with Mormonism, especially the Melchizedek priesthood, and by 1947 had legally changed his name to Krishnaventa and left Utah.
This is not Charles Manson.
No, but it says, upon leaving Utah, he gained notoriety and followers, eventually around 100 people or so, and started the Wisdom, Knowledge, Faith, Love Fountain of the World cult.
Sounds so amazing.
WKFL. It sounds like something Charles Manson would have joined, right?
Can I join this group?
They lived on 25 acres in Box Canyon, California, where they built a monastery in 1948.
Listen, I want to live on a commune, just not this kind.
Anyways, I'm going to skip ahead because you get where this is going.
Get to the juicy part.
Okay, so basically his cult came to an end in December of 1958. On the evening of December 10th, two ex-members who'd become tired of this guy's hypocrisy regarding money and the fact that he was sleeping with their wives, confronted him in order to try to get him to confess to the crimes, while one of them taped the conversation with a hidden tape recorder. It didn't work, so they decided to blow themselves and him up by detonating a bag of dynamite. That's how much they hated him.
Not blow jays.
No, they were willing to suicide bomb him just to kill him. Anyway, I want to just point out that now, as of today, the haunted Kay's Cross, they are really doing it right where the nunnery is not doing it right. They're offering hay rides to the old cross site. They're offering, you can do like a regular tour for, $15, or you can add the hay ride for $25 and get the package deal. And it's a whole thing. It's a whole situation. Anyway, that's the story.
That's Mormon Corner.
That's a lot of the story of Kay's Cross.
So cool shit.
I heard Swallows Day is coming up.
Next week, it sure is. For those who don't know, in my town of San Juan Capistrano, that's how you say it.
That's not how you say it.
It is known for the Swallows. Their songs, When the Swallows Go to California.
Don't sing the song. Don't sing the song.
I'm kidding. That's actually not how it goes anyways. But it's like, it always talks about how the Swallows go back to Capistrano. Well, that's San Juan Capistrano, because the Swallows used to come here because the mission was the largest building for a long time, until it wasn't, and hasn't been for a very long time. But I digress.
But the Swallows don't come back.
Soon. Sure they do.
What are all those birds?
Those aren't swallows. I don't. Those are crows.
You don't even know what you're talking about.
I don't know, but I just know the swallows don't come back. Like, it was a long thing where people would... Because what happened is in the mission, the people who worked there would destroy the nests of the swallows because they were just everywhere or whatever. Then they stopped coming, and then they're like, wait, where's the fucking swallows? It's kind of our thing. And now they're like, let's put mating calls up to try and get the swallows to come back. Anyways, it's a whole thing. Like, the swallows don't really come back to Capistrano anymore. They used to. But it was such a well-known thing that, like, Marilyn Monroe would come here, and we've got our Swallows Day Parade. And the Swallows Day Parade has, I forget what it's called. It's like the governor or the marshal. And it's generally somebody about town who's like kind of rad or owns
like
business.
A parade marshal, grand marshal?
The grand marshal, that's what it's called, right? Barbara Stanwyck was the marshal one year. She's in the old-timey movies. She's an old lady. She's dead now, but that's okay. But anyways, like, it is well known that it is the world's largest non-motorized parade because everything is horse-drawn. And it's kind of cool, and you got people, like, you've got the Juanino Native Americans do their thing, and then there's other people throughout town that do fun stuff. It's kind of cool. I've actually never really gotten a chance to watch it because I've always worked in the restaurant, so I was either working or I came in later in the day. So next week will be the first time I'm actually going to watch the parade. But this is, so it's been 2 years we haven't had one because of the pandemic. But now there's some horrible horse flu going around where apparently if the horses even share a trough for water, they could get it. And the mortality rate apparently is fairly high for it. So this will be the first year that it will be a motorized Swallows Day Parade. So hopefully next year everything goes back to normal. But anyways, it should be pretty fun.
Fucking horse flu.
Fucking horse flu.
Fuck horse flu. Fuck COVID. All of it.
But anyways, it should be pretty fun. I'm sad that we're going to miss Huskow Day because that's really... I mean, the Swallows Day is a drinking day. Huskow Day is a bigger drinking day, which is the day before when everybody gets ready for the Swallows Day, where you drink a lot.
I've lived here for 2 years, and I've never seen any of this because it's just been fucking COVID the whole time I've lived here.
Right?
So,
I'm
excited to hear you tell me about it because I'll be at work.
I have a feeling I'll be blacked out.
Great. I'll give you a microphone.
Let's just go with my normal every year. I haven't been sober for it, so why will I be sober this year?
Hey, I've got some cool shit.
Oh, I love cool shit.
I just realized this is our 90th episode.
90?
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
Some other cool shit. So we talked a little bit last week about how I'm obsessed with Demonia Shoes, the large stacked platform shoes from the 90s that were very popular.
Mandy's living her best life.
I really am. I've bought 5 pairs now in the last month. And they do this great thing where if you leave a review, they give you extra points that leads to like discounts and stuff. And if you put a picture with your review, they give you even more points. And so I've been obviously like preparing my photo shoots and my very professional pictures that I'm going to be adding to my reviews because this is a big deal. I don't take this lightly. But I've been combing through other people's reviews, kind of just to see how people style the shoes and, get ideas and whatever.
So you can do it better?
Yeah, exactly. Of course.
Yeah,
That's when I do it.
Oh, is that how you did it? I'm going to fucking nail it.
I will dominate you. But it's actually really fun because everybody puts a picture in their review. And so you've just got these people in their like really filthy hoarder houses. I don't know if it's a thing with people who like platform shoes are hoarders, but like if you go onto their website and just pick any shoe and look at the reviews and zoom in on the pictures, you're just like, holy shit, is this an episode of Hoarders? What's going on in the background?
Of your you're zooming it in, right? Like,
of course, yeah. So it's like one of the first ones that comes to mind is like this really, I'm just going to say really tall. He's wearing platform shoes. This tall guy, he's big, he's like beefy, he's balding on top, you know, big beer gut. He looks like a redneck that would be at the K's Cross.
Wait, hold on. A redneck in platform shoes don't make sense to me.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's like he's wearing baggy jeans, like a juggalo kind of, but a redneck, but wearing platform
juggalo
shoes.
is enough. I get it.
Yeah, and then if you look in his, he's got a cigarette in his hand, and then there's like a bottle of RC Cola, like a 2-liter on the table with a bunch of shit everywhere, and then there's just like stacks and papers and just like shoe boxes and just like garbage and it just looks horrible. It looks awful. And then, but the one thing that really stood out to me was on the wall. There's nothing on the walls except for a strip full of like, you know what? You know how like the Minnie Mouse ears, the Disneyland ears have the bow in the middle?
Yeah.
Like the big bow. It was like a strip down the wall of just a bunch of those kind of bows.
Sounds like a serial killer.
Yeah, either that or some kind of weird fetishist thing, adult baby. I don't know what. I made a lot of judgments based on that photo.
I want you to post all of these pictures and zoom them in so I can see them.
But another one was like a girl who was just like, oh, a cute girl, you know, like, I don't know, early 20s, whatever.
Right.
Mini skirt, big platform boots, like looking cute, makeup done. Sitting on a bare ass mattress with no sheets or anything on it, on the floor, with like, you know, just garbage all around her. And
that's really sad.
Or like people take a picture of themselves in the mirror because they don't have someone to take the picture for them because they're trying to get the shoes in.
Right.
And you just see their whole entire bedroom and it's like
just trash.
All trash. There's very few. In fact, I maybe found 2 out of the, I'm not even exaggerating, 150 reviews that I looked at, pictures I looked at. I found 2 that looked like the room was clean and the bed was made and like you could have a visitor over to sleep in your bed with you.
There is a website for this where people take pictures from reviews and just send the picture so you don't have to like filter through random reviews. It's just like people will be like, oh, love my new like hat or whatever, but in the background there's a huge dildo just sitting out, right? And like there's a whole website dedicated to this. So that's what I was hoping I was going to hear a lot of. The trash is great, but I was like, oh, we should just find that website because it's real bad.
Yeah, there was no dildos, but there was just a lot of...
I bet you could find a dildo if you tried.
I looked really hard in every picture I looked at, but I only looked at a fraction of the... I mean, they got a lot of shoes on that website.
I bet.
I didn't try hard enough.
I really, really want to buy some of them because they make us look very skinny. I'm into looking skinny right now.
Tall and skinny.
But I'm terrified of breaking my ankle, especially if the bone is sticking out. And that's just what I envision.
Ooh, no.
When I'm walking in them is like, okay, it just takes one wrong turn and just ankle bone. So I just don't think I can do it.
Don't say that. I never thought that before, but now I'm scared of all my...
So sorry.
All my shoes I just bought. Damn
just
it.
Walk really carefully.
Let's change the subject.
Okay. Cool shit.
Okay, last week we talked about Starlink, and I wasn't quite sure exactly what it was. High-speed internet that Elon Musk owns.
Right.
And I got a message from Cherie, who's one of our patrons, and she was telling me...
Thanks, Cherie.
Yeah. Hey, girl. She was telling me that apparently there's a website you can go on and look at the Starlink train, and which is legitimately just... It actually looks like a train of satellites moving through the sky. It's all of... If you time it just right, you can see all the satellites moving,
oh, wow.
10 or 12
That's
or
cool.
up to 20 moving at the same time in a train through the orbit, and it just looks like a train through the sky, and I thought that was so badass. And I went on and tried to look at it, and there's nothing coming up. I think it projects like when you can see it in the next 5 days and what the probability of visibility is. But you go to findstarlink.com and put in your area, and it'll tell you when the best chance for you to see it is and where in the sky to look.
Oh, well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it looks really bitchin'.
I like that.
So, yeah, I thought that was really cool. So, thanks, Cherie, for the hot tip. We're going to keep checking it out until there's visibility in our area, and then we're going to jump on it.
And I'll try and film it, and it won't translate through my phone.
You know what would be so fun? The next time we go out to Joshua Tree camping, I wanted to time it with the new moon so we make sure we don't have any, like, light interference with our star show.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool to time that no moon with the Starlink train?
That would be cool.
Let's do that.
Let's go back to Joshua Tree.
Put that on the calendar. Oh, we're going back.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to see the goddamn Starlink train.
And I'm going to do more drugs. Because it was fun.
That was fun. Are you ready for some This Motherfucker?
Yeah, I suppose. Ugh, they suck.
Who's they?
All of them. All of the people who suck.
Do you mean Ricky Schroder?
Oh, God.
Former child actor, now QAnon conspiracy nut?
Yeah, that guy's a piece of shit.
What's
going on with him?
He's a piece of shit. He's trending on Twitter, and I was like, why in God's name is Ricky Schroder trending? Let me tell you why. It's because he has made a statement. He's made a statement, and he's pledged his loyalty to the trucking convoy that's happening today. Have you heard about this?
That's still going on, I thought.
Well, so they were blocking traffic, and
Right.
now they're not allowed to do that anymore. Finally, somebody was like, hey, get the fuck out of the way. So now they're protesting in their trucks still with their flags all hanging off the back of their semi-trucks, but they are driving very slowly, but they're moving.
Oh, God.
Right? Just to be... I don't know
Assholes.
why. Just to be assholes, I guess. They're saying freedom. It's because they want freedom.
What's the freedom that they're being repressed from?
It's they're tired of the mask mandates and COVID restrictions. So, just kind of like, fuck the 6 million people that have died since the pandemic started. We're going to just fuck up your world even a little bit more than it's already fucked. Because we don't have anything else to fucking do.
Also, why would a truck driver have to wear a mask if he's in his truck by himself?
They're just a bunch of fucking QAnon Trump worshippers.
Like, I could see other professions maybe doing... I mean, I don't agree with it, but I could at least see other professions doing it. Truck drivers are just being assholes.
Yeah, I'm so fucking sick of all of them. It's like... There's a couple of other names that are trending too, just because I guess it's like failed actors who suck now.
Scott Baio.
Yeah, Scott Baio, Kevin Sorbo, Randy Quaid's on there, Kirstie Alley, Kid Rock. They're all like, freedom! Freedom! We want our freedom!
Oh
we don't want to wear no masks. Anyway, it's very annoying. So that's happening. Also, so obviously, like, the situation in Ukraine's terrible. It's awful. It's horrible. People are dying. Surprisingly... From what I've been reading on Twitter, there is a ton of support for it in Russia. There's a lot of people protesting and getting thrown in jail and shit.
Right.
But there's a ton of support. So there's, if you see the letter Z.
Yeah.
Have you seen this thing?
I just saw it because you posted it on Twitter, so I read it.
Yeah, so if you see Z in their social media name, or people are putting Z's on their vehicles, and I guess it translates to victory, something like victory, but it's kind of like the symbol of solidarity for Russian people because they're gonna,
Well, it's because they're just getting their own, the propaganda, right? The government.
Yeah, propaganda.
Where, they're just seeing that it's fascist in Ukraine and that they're taken over by Nazis and they're trying to denazify the country. And it's like, wait, what?
Yeah, right.
I also watched a 9-minute video of a Russian soldier who became captive, right? So he's a POW and he went on the Ukrainian TV news and he's just like, I'm so sorry. Like, we are being told that you guys are being, held by Nazis essentially, and we're here to like liberate you. And that is so far from the truth. When you see, women throwing Molotov cocktails, and like another Ukrainian woman took out a drone by throwing a jar of cucumbers.
Yeah, I saw that too.
But like, it is just like, oh, so they're being told one thing and they think that they're liberating them, but like, and he's like, we don't want to kill anybody. Like, that's not the purpose. Like, and he goes on for 9 minutes about how he's like, I don't know how we're ever going to come back from this, and we can't be victorious either.
Right. Yeah, it's bananas to me that there's so many people that are pro Putin and pro Russia right now.
Right.
I had no idea. And so it's like, what, kind of digging into it, it's like, why on earth would you be for this? And it's because, that word denazification keeps coming up.
Which, again, it doesn't make sense. The whole khaki pants and tiki torches was not that long ago.
Yeah,
they love the Nazis.
Nazis.
There's good people on both sides.
They're proud of the Nazis, the Oath Keepers, the 3%ers.
The Proud Boys.
Yeah, all those fuckers. Now they're all for denazification. Go fuck yourself. How about that?
Mud Girl Turd Butt was just at a fucking, just at a Nazi rally the other day. Mm-hmm. So there's that.
Yeah. Take your tiki torch. Shove it up so far up your ass.
Yes.
And die and go away.
While it's on fire.
While it's on fucking fire. I had one other thing too. Because, I mean, there's so much going on in the world, especially just with the Ukraine. You could just go on forever. However, we've been rambling a lot already.
Right.
So.
Well, listen.
But
we're very drunk.
Have you heard about the Don't Say Gay bill?
Oh my God, yes. I'm so fucking frustrated by it. So that's what, Texas and Florida, right?
Yeah. For little kids, so K through 3, at least that's what the one in Florida is.
Okay.
You can't say gay. You can't talk about being gay. You can't talk about being trans, anything about, like, God forbid if you have gay parents, I don't know what you're supposed to, say. But it's such an obvious, like, ploy for media attention.
Right.
Like, how often is that really going to come up with kids in school?
But they're also trying
Little
to have
kids.
something that's saying if you have a trans child, then child services are going to look into the parents for abuse. Like, shit like that.
I've heard that,
like, that's fucked up.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, it seems to me like it's more for attention than anything else.
Right.
In reality, I don't know. I mean, kids are going to talk, so the teachers can't say it. Kids talk to each other. That's where you socialize.
Right.
You hang out outside of school. You have your home life. Like, it's not going to make anybody not gay.
Right. Or make them turn
or make
gay.
them turn gay.
Right.
I guess that's the big fear, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I saw that and I was just like, this has got to be a distraction for something else.
Right.
This is just such ridiculous bullshit. I can't even believe I'm taking the time to even talk about it. But it's so awful. The fact that
it's a thing. I mean, there's that. And then, I was on Twitter and there was some live thing that's saying that, Roe versus Wade is probably going to get overturned pretty soon here. And I'm just like, fuck me.
Really?
And it's like and they're trying to change the conversation to how do we help women go to the states where abortion will be legal. But it's like, it doesn't make sense. Like, you can't help all the women who will need the help if they choose to have that help.
Yeah.
By going to another state. And so it's frustrating as well. But what do you do?
Well, you know what? I don't give a fuck about laws. And if the law's stupid, fuck it, I'm not following that law.
Duh. And I want to say, like, at least there's abortion pills now where you don't have to worry about getting on a card table in an alleyway or whatever, getting stabbed or whatever. Like, you can literally take a pill. But if that pill goes wrong and you go to the hospital, which you have to do, right, or you're going to die, then...
Well, we've talked about this before. At that point, it's not an abortion anymore. At that point, it's just hemorrhaging.
Right, but if they see that you were pregnant, then, like, isn't there... I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a girl currently in jail for having a miscarriage.
Yeah.
So fucked up.
Anyway, I'm not in the mood for this motherfucker today, and I think we should just leave it at that.
Well, fuck those people, and if anybody has any ideas on how to fix it, you can email us at FHEBadMormons@gmail.com.
You can send the Russian people intel on what's actually happening in Ukraine by going on Yelp and leaving the information on restaurant reviews, because Facebook's banned, Twitter's banned, Netflix is cut off. Well,
I did see something too about video games, because you can still get online to play video games. So, if you have like a Twitch or things like that.
Yeah. Makes sense. All right, let's hear a word from our sponsors and freshen up our vaginas.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Hey-o.
How's your vagina feeling?
Super fresh.
Great. I have a story for you.
Yeah?
And it's a story that I don't think I've told you before.
Oh, interesting. Go on.
It's not too long, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about my very last year that I lived in San Francisco. Right before I left, I left in 2012, moved to Hawaii, and San Francisco does this amazing thing every year called Sketchfest.
Okay.
And it's like a whole week of comedy shit, like comedy shows, comedy performances. Actually, San Francisco has a pretty fun comedy scene anyway.
Right.
But like all these really hilarious people come in for this week and do stand-ups and readings and, podcasts and all kinds of stuff. And so this week was particularly amazing. And I got to see actually Riff Tracks live.
Oh, nice.
Which was really fucking fun. But just to give you an idea of what was going on that week, so it went from January 19th through February 4th. And this is just kind of like a brief overview of some of the ones that you could choose from. So you could never hit them all because they're like going on at the same time.
Kind of like Coachella.
Well, yeah, but all over town. So different venues and bars and whatever. So, it's just like 5 things that you want to see are happening at exactly the same time.
Totally.
Yeah. So there was Eddie Izzard and Greg Proops were doing a Q&A with fans.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, Upright Citizens Brigade, Matt Besser, Amy Poehler, Ian Roberts, and Matt Walsh, and Andy Richter were doing a thing.
Awesome.
The whole cast from Wet Hot American Summer was doing live radio play. I know. I didn't get to see that one. I think that one might have been going on at the same time the Riff Tracks one was. Right. So I chose Riff Tracks. But it was like Michael Ian Black, Joe Latrulio, Ken Marino, everybody, just like the whole list.
You chose poorly.
Maybe.
Because you can always go see Riff Tracks.
Well, wait till you hear who was at Riff Tracks.
Oh, okay. Go on.
I'm just going to tell you, too, another one that might make you jealous. Upright Citizens Brigade did a thing, too. And then, but Riff Tracks was, they did Night of the Shorts, and it was Kevin Murphy and Bill Corbett at the time. And then their guests were David Cross, Bruce McCullough.
Oh, nice.
Paul F. Tompkins, Eugene Meerman, Cole Stratton, and Janet Varney.
That's so awesome.
It was so great. And it was at the Castro Theater. And so I went with Ani and Janine, and we went and stood in line. And it was a line that wrapped around the block, Right. And it's not a huge block. It's a San Francisco block. But so we waited out there for a while, and we ended up sitting up in the balcony. And they did a bunch of little shorts. And they did their Riff Tracks over the top of them, and then there was like a whole Q&A with the guests, special guest speakers or whatever. And we were drinking and stuff, and it was so fun. But you and I were watching Riff Tracks the other night, and I was like, oh my god, I don't think I ever told you about the time I actually got to go see that live in San Francisco.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. I think there was an event going on right before Riff Tracks as well, because we'd gotten there a little bit early, so we ended up going to the bar and having some drinks before we got in our line, because there was a big gay production of The Little Mermaid. So it was like a gay sing-along. So the entire Castro Theater was sold out with people singing along to The Little Mermaid.
That sounds incredible.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have been there.
I kind of wish I would have gotten to go see that too.
Do they still do that? I mean, clearly not the same people, but do they still have that comedy thing in San Francisco?
Sketchfest?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, totally.
We should go.
We should totally go. I haven't been back to San Francisco for a long time.
I'm flying, though. I'm not driving.
Oh, yeah, fuck that. That's like 7-hour drive.
Right.
We've been joking around. Well, maybe not joking, but lightly planning a trip up there to go do wine country and eat at French Laundry. So it'll have to be some sort of a big celebration.
I just want to take the train up. I think that would be fun.
That would be fun.
I'd be into that.
There was also that week, too. I'm just kind of reading back over the hit list.
Right.
There was some Groundlings stuff too, with probably not really a lot of names you'd know. Tim Bagley, Jennifer Coolidge. She's the mom, the Pop and Lock, the mom from Legally Blonde. She's funny. The Dark Crystal did a 30th anniversary celebration. Bob Odenkirk, Oscar Nunez, Rachel Dratch, Simon Helberg. They did an improv show at the park
Oh, nice.
Anyways, it just goes on. An evening with Thomas Lennon, Robert Ben Grant, and Carrie Kenny Silver from Reno 911.
Tom Lennon.
Mm-hmm. They're
It's
all
rad.
Yeah, I think we should figure out when the next one is. I feel like they usually do it right around. We probably just missed it, if they even did it at all.
Right, with
for
COVID and everything.
But yeah, for next year, we should definitely try to do it.
That would be amazing.
So yeah.
Kind of off topic, but I just reminded me of a dream I had, not last night, but a couple nights ago, was that I was at a bar in New York, just going up to like at an event. So like if I was like at a hair show, so I was going up to like a little small bar to get my drink to walk around the convention floor, and Tom Lennon was the bartender. And I was like, oh my God, it's you. And he's like, yeah, I know. It's like, I got to pay the bills somehow. And I'm just like, I'm just so surprised. You've been a part of so many amazing, because, before Reno 911, he was part of,
The State?
The State, right?
Yeah, The State was awesome.
Right, The State was awesome. But yeah, so that was my dream. And I was like, oh, Tom Lennon is really fallen from grace.
Fallen on hard times.
I haven't been to a lot of comedy things. Like, I think I'd mentioned in the past, I went to a Joe Rogan thing. Someone bought me a ticket, and it was awful. Like, even before all this controversy, this was like maybe like 8 years ago. And I was just like, you're just not funny, bro. Like, you're trying to be like, and I'm all for shock comedy, but like, he was just not funny. I'm like, you're just kind of like, all your shit is sexist, but not in a funny sort of way. Because again, like, I laugh at some really fucking inappropriate sexist jokes, but like, that was just weren't funny. And then, but the one I really glad that we got to go to do was, oh God, that would have been like 7 years ago. I was flying in from Thailand, and you were flying in from San Francisco, and Craig picked us both up. But like, it was like my first day back home from vacation, and we went to T-Mobile because I had to get a new SIM card for my phone. And we were at the Irvine Spectrum, and we saw that Charlie Murphy was playing. And I was like, well, fuck that. We're going to see Charlie Murphy. And that was incredible. And like, I think he died a couple years later, so it was kind of a bummer.
That was a really funny show.
It was such a good show.
He did all of his like
Chappelle
show stuff. The Prince playing basketball.
Yes. So
pancakes.
Funny.
That was really great. I actually saw Dave Chappelle at that same place too, several years before that.
Oh, the sketch comedy thingy,
No, at the Irvine Spectrum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It was Mom was living in Kite Hill, and I had driven down with my boyfriend BJ at the time, and we just saw that he was playing, and this was like right fresh off of not High Strung, Half Baked.
Oh, right.
And so it was before Chappelle's show, it was
right.
like he was kind of at the beginning of
getting
famous.
Fun.
Yeah, and it was really fun. And we ended up getting sat right in front of the stage because there was just the two of us. And I'll never forget, the show was great, but I'll never forget, I had purple hair at the time and purple like little pigtail braids. And I'll never forget, Dave Chappelle was like, kind of picking on people in the audience and asking them like what they do, and then making fun of them for whatever they say. And he talks to a couple people, and then he looks at me and he just doesn't say anything, and he just shakes his head. And I was like, oh fuck. And he's like, what did he say? He was like, why don't you just put a big neon sign over your head that says, please fuck with me? I was like, okay. What do you do? I sell vitamins. He's like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, you're not even making this hard for me. He just roasted me. And I was like so embarrassed. But it was like such a fun time. That's actually a really great venue.
It really is a good venue. And like, there's one I regretted was not seeing Bob Saget there, because he played not fairly often, but a few times I saw him come through, and I was like, eh. Like,
he does a really funny stand-up show.
I don't know why. I was just under the impression that he just did like dick jokes for the sake of being like trying to get away from his Danny Tanner character. But turns out he was making those dick jokes way before Full House, which makes me respect him a whole hell of a lot more. And so it's just like, it's a pity. Yeah, it's a fucking pity.
I would have loved to see him do stand-up.
Right.
Well, this is why you have to just live your life as if you're going to die tomorrow, because one day you are.
Right, 100%.
So max out your credit cards.
Shut up, Mandy.
Go to Thailand and see Bob Saget. Do everything you ever wanted to do. Buy 5 pairs of Demonia shoes. and have a photo shoot with reviews so you can buy more shoes.
Make sure, can we put some dildos in the background when we do your photo shoot?
Absolutely. That's a really great idea. If you guys want to play a fun new game we just came up with, it's go to Demonia, try to guess which shoes I bought, and find my review, and see if you can spot the dildo in my picture.
I'll send you a free pin.
We're going to have to buy a dildo, I think. It'll be worth it.
You threw away my one I used to keep in the freezer. How rude.
It had mold on it.
No, it was green ink. And by the way, for those who don't know, it wasn't a real I mean, I guess technically it could have been a real dildo, but it was meant for comedic purposes. Hence why I kept it in the freezer or next to the beer. So when someone would be like, I'm like, yeah, go get a beer. It's just in the fridge. Dildo.
Good times.
I can't believe I threw away my shit.
Inappropriate.
All right. Well, if you feel like being inappropriate, head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review and rating.
We're going to be looking for the word dildo.
Right.
You can also go to our YouTube if you're feeling so inclined. We're always looking for likes and subscribes and shares.
We're on all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram,
Twitter,
LinkedIn.
And you can also get your official merch if you haven't already. It's in our link tree, which is in all of our social medias, our TeePublic site.
And send your stories to us.
Did you have a dildo in your fridge?
Please say yes. You can email that at FHEBadMormons@gmail.com.
And lastly, the whole reason we keep doing this podcast every week is for you, our patrons. And if you're interested in becoming a patron of our show, you can do it for as little as $3 a month. It's less than a latte and more fun in church.
They should tell them. And it could be a tax deduction.